Hello, beautiful souls. I am Valeria Maritza at Healing Through You. I am an infinite being of light, and so are you. And on the very iconic sentence right there, this is the messages coming through today for you. This is specific to anyone and everyone who has had any type of fallout with any family member specifically, and also maybe any best friends, anyone who's been in your life that you have been really turning your back to them because of how much they have hurt you. Okay, so that is the topic of today. We are all infinite being of light, and we are that in spirit. Our souls are that infinite being of light, of love, of understanding, of compassion, of oneness, of togetherness, all of it. And when we are living here on our physical experience, when we're living here in the human dense body, we forget who we are. We forget that connection. We believe that we're separate, not, by anyone's fault, but because it's what we have been taught, right? Religious institutions, our parents, the society, no matter where you are in the world. Well, I'm not going to go back all the way in the world, because there are some places in the world where people are still very connected to the oneness and to nature and to everything. But mostly, especially in civilized world, we have this separation of being and the divine, right? God is out there, up there, all powerful, all divine, all beautiful, and we are here, these sinners in faulty people in these bodies who are very limited. So very limited, yes, that is a limiting belief. And separate, no, we're not separate. We're all together. We are part of the divine. And here's the thing, for those of you who have had really traumatic childhood, where you had perhaps a narcissistic parent or sibling, or you have been abused, or you repeated this type of relationship with your chosen partners throughout your life. Or maybe there are people who continue to do things that feel wrong, or they feel like they hurt, or they are unfair. Okay, all of those words that I just mentioned, wrong, unfair, don't feel good, those are all really low frequency words that are attached to the ego. They are attached to the separation. They're attached to what you are not. You are pure love. Everybody is. Even, yes, and this is where it's going to be a little difficult, if you are having a really bad trauma from what perhaps your family has treated you and created in your childhood and moving on, right? But everyone, you and your parents, you and the perpetrator, are divine beings. You are playing a role here on earth. You're playing a specific role so that you can expand your soul, your growth, your experience. And believe it or not, you and everyone around you that you meet has created this life that you are living right now, that you're experiencing, as part of what you wanted to learn. So even the person who has been so bad, so mean, so hurtful to you is playing that role so that your soul can grow and expand into that experience that you chose. Yes, I know, difficult to wrap our heads around it. Why would anyone want to suffer such things? Why would anyone want this unfairness, right? You have to remember that you are not this body. You are not this human that you see here. You are the infinite self. And you come here to earth to experience these experiences that we choose. But that's not where the guys want me to go right now. What they really want me to go is the forgiveness part, specifically for those who have been mistreated really badly, really traumatic as children. And you have grown up being able to separate yourself from these parents, from this family, and have all of this resentment towards them because of how they hurt you. And you can't even look at them, think of them, and you may have completely cut all cords of communication with them, which is really good for your sanity as a human. And how do you forgive someone who has hurt you so badly in the past? How do you do that? Right? And if you're here listening to this type of podcast, then you are already aware that forgiveness is one of the highest frequencies, and that it is the path to your enlightenment, to your letting go, to your being able to do other things. You have to let go of that trauma. But how do you do that when it's so ingrained in your body? And this is key. We save, we condense, we restore, restore, what's the word? Help me out here. We bring all of this trauma into our body, and we save it there, and we keep it there on our physical body. It's like a big sack of potatoes, and you're just dumping it in. This hurt, oh, I'm going to put it down there, and it's going to go to the bottom of that sack of potatoes. I'm going to leave it there. This is where illness begins to grow, wherever it is in your body that you have chosen to put this. For example, if it's a broken heart, it might be in your heart chakra, in your chest area, and you may have issues with breathing in your lungs or your heart. If you are, if you bring it all the way down to your belly, you may have stomach problems. Maybe you bring it even lower, you have reproductive problems, right? Or you don't have that sense of power or creativity if it's in the lower chakras. And so you will see where it is that your illnesses come from, and what parts of your body are acting out, and then you know that that is the place that you have stored the trauma. Getting offline here again. I'm not sure what's going on today, because it feels like I'm going in all different directions, but they keep putting me back into like, no, this is the part of love. So when we cross over, when we leave our physical body, when we die, we go on to the other side. And on the other side, we are pure, beautiful, loving spirits, beings, souls, eternal beings. That's what we are on the other side. And there is none of the ego. The ego does not exist on the other side. It's pure love. The ego attaches to the darkness, to the drama, to the low frequencies. That is not possible on the other side, because the other side is a very high vibrating energy. So we leave the ego behind with our body when we cross over. And when we cross over, you get to see and meet everyone who has crossed over before you. And not just the people that you know in your circle, but all of your ancestors you can meet. So people you hadn't met before in this life, you will meet there as well. And you will recognize them. Even if you've never known them here, you will recognize them on the other side. And then you will feel pure, unconditional love and acceptance from all of them. And this is something that has come up in me, in my work that I do when I work with my clients. And some clients have had this type of traumatic experience, and I'm in session with them, and one of their parents who has crossed over shows up, and they don't want to hear from them. They don't want to talk to them because of the trauma that they created, the pain that they created for them in this life. And they're coming in from the other side with complete love and compassion and forgiveness, asking for forgiveness, asking the person who is still here on earth, on the three-dimensional body, to forgive them. And that forgiveness, to be clear, it may seem like, hey, I'm asking you for forgiveness, I'm so sorry I did this, but the forgiveness is not for them. Because on the other side, they're part of the divine, and they know it, they remember it. The forgiveness is for you who are still here on earth. And so people have a really hard time, a lot of times, accepting this love, accepting the way that these souls are coming through for them, because they're so different than what they were here on earth. So here on earth, it might have been like the worst of the worst, really evil and causing pain everywhere. And on the other side, they're pure love, and they can see everything, and they can say, "Hey, I'm sorry. This, I'm asking for forgiveness." And you're standing here on earth thinking, "Yeah, that would never happen," or "I cannot understand that," or "I'm not accepting that because I was hurt so badly. So, you go to hell." So to speak, right? Oops, sorry. I hope that word is not a bad word, so that I can say that this is clean. Um, but that is how this works. And so the human who's here feels this resistance of being able to accept what happened. There's a resistance of being able to accept the apology and to see them as who they truly are, which is the pure divine being of love. Because they were so completely different than that here on earth while they were hurting you. And so, by doing the deep work here on earth while you're still here, which is meditating, quieting the mind, going on to higher realms by raising your frequency, calming the mind, removing all thoughts from your mind, what that does for you here on earth is it allows you to connect with the divine part of you while you're still alive on this earth, while you're still experiencing your humanness. And the more that you do that, the more that you raise your frequency, and on that state of pure love and awesomeness, you also get to communicate with the souls who have crossed over, including those who here on earth you may not want to ever see again, such as a parent who might have traumatized you as a child or through your life, but you're able to accept them and see them and receive their message from that state because you have raised your frequency enough to be able to step outside of your body, outside of your humanness, and be able to understand things from a higher level, from more of your divine being level. And once you're able to do that and see it, see how everything works out, kind of like when you say, well, everything happens for a reason. This is really bad what's happening here, but God knows what they're doing, and everything's going to work out, and we don't know why, and we don't understand it, and we don't like it, but we have that trust in the divine, or God, or whomever it is that you are believing in. It's kind of like that you're able to see everything from a higher point of view, see the purpose of everyone's missions and lessons that we are experiencing here on earth, and then you're able to accept that person, that soul's love. Once you're able to accept that soul's love from that level, you come back into your body, and then you're able to have more of that communication with the soul of the person who has crossed over, and be able to accept the apology and accept the love. And this is how it feels. It feels as a total and complete hug, a complete human or a superhuman hug full of compassion and love. This is the type of love that is experienced when you cross and when you go on the other side. It's difficult to experience here on earth as a human because our ego gets in the way, and there's always that thing in the back of the mind of like, well, what is it that they want, or something like that, right? But you will see that in moments in your life. For example, let's say you have a child, the child's having a tantrum, and you grab that child and you hug that child to calm them down, and you just hold them and give them all of your love, and then that child melts in your arms, right? Because why? Because they feel safe, because they feel secure, because they feel loved. And all of the anger, that tension that they were experiencing, where the nervous system is going haywire, calms down with the human touch and with the energy that the parent or the adult or the other person is giving them with that really deep hug. And that's how it feels on the other side when you are meeting your parents or your family members or whomever did you wrong here on earth who has crossed over. You will feel that. And once you feel that type of love, you will surrender, just like the child will surrender into the parents' arms, right? You just let go. You just let go and you allow that love to come in. The message which is clearly coming through today for anyone who's had this type of experience with their family members growing up and they have so much hate and resentment towards them, is to connect with their higher self. So if they're still living, which I know most of you will have parents or family members who are still living, who are doing this type of, who have done this type of things to you where it has hurt you, meet their higher self. So raise your frequency during meditation and then go to meet their higher self. So your higher self is coming out of your body and you're raising your frequency. Now you're up here connecting to your divine self, being even more connected and remembering that you are part of everything and all at once, and that includes the divine. And then from there, you call on to their higher self for the purpose of being able to understand and receive that forgiveness so that you can let go of your anger, the resentment, the hate that you may have for this person, whether they're still here on earth or on the other side. And then you are able to forgive and let that go. It is so important to let it go because keeping the resentment within your body will create discord within your body, which always manifests into some type of illness. And you know this. Getting rid of it, releasing it, will also release that stuck energy and not allow it or prevent it from, it will prevent it and not allow it to go on to the next level, which is to create some type of disease within the body. So it's really important for you to do that, to release it for you. And while you're living here, if you're able to do this work and be able to release that resentment from whomever did you wrong or is still doing you wrong, perhaps, then you let that go. You let that go. Something else may happen. And I'm going to give you a warning here, which is your body, after you do this work, may feel sick in some way. You may feel like you have the flu, or you may have pains here or there, or you may feel like, something really hurts. And all of these things are symptoms of letting go of that stuck dark energy that you have been keeping and carrying in your body. So while you move this dark energy out of your body, it releases. And as it's releasing out of your body, you may feel some type of sickness while it's happening because it is a shift, a rearrangement of your cells, of your body that need to come out and be replaced with a new sense of love that you are receiving. You are letting go of the hate and the anger, and you are putting back in the light and the love. And a lot of times it comes in a way of a physical illness, which is temporary. I'm not talking about like a big illness, while you are releasing. So if you do feel this and you do experience this, don't be upset or think that something is wrong. It's actually a good thing. It's a blessing that it's working. Oh my gosh, like I did this work and now my throat hurts. And it's hurt for like 2 days. Yet there's no virus, nothing else is happening, but my throat is hurting, right? And that is a sign that you're releasing these energies and that you were perhaps holding the darker energy in your throat area, right? So perhaps the trauma that you received was one where you felt you couldn't speak, you couldn't stand up to yourself, you couldn't say what you meant, you couldn't say what you thought and or felt. and now you're releasing this dark energy and your throat hurts. It's because you're releasing all of that energy from your throat, opening up your throat chakra, and then you feel able to speak and say the things that you wanted to say, right? So it's a really big, amazing healing, really coming through so strongly for anyone who has this type of experience in their childhood or are carrying it through, and or if you know anyone who has had this type of traumatic childhood experience, to listen to this and to listen to it for a couple of times until it really lands, because every time you listen to it, you will receive different parts of it making sense to you, because it doesn't make sense at the beginning. A lot of times we have so much anger within us and we're like, yeah, that makes no sense, and we can't listen to it anymore, or we just tune out, and all of a sudden it's like blah, 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 and it's like this background noise, and you think you're listening, but you've already tuned out. This happens a lot when there's something really, really strong there for you. And so then the second time you listen to it, you get a little bit further. You get a little bit more information. You get to see and understand and open yourself up to more healing and get to a different level in it. So that's the way that this particular healing works, is for you to listen to it and allow it to integrate, and then do the work on your own. That is the meditating. Put some background beautiful music that you love, just look it up anywhere on YouTube, something that doesn't have a guided meditation, something that is just nice background music, so you can just do your meditation, quiet the mind, concentrate on your breathing, and then see yourself come out. See yourself being that beautiful divine being of light, your soul. And then have that part of you, your soul, meet the soul, the higher selves of those who have hurt you. And then you're able to receive, and I know I'm repeating this, but they're telling me to do it. And then you're able to receive from their higher self the purpose, the apology, the love. Once you get there, the how are you going to know that you're completely healed with this? Is when you're able to think about them and be neutral. When you're able to think about them and not get triggered. When you're no longer having this anger or resentment or sadness within you. And when you're able to imagine yourself hugging them and actually receiving a pure hug back, and knowing that this hug is real, feeling that pure love within you. One of the reasons that people break down and start crying when they go to a medium and they connect with a past loved one who they want to connect, let's say, you know, a parent that they liked or they had a good relationship with it, or a friend or a child, and they start crying. Part of that crying is not the fact that it's confirmation that they're okay and that they're here with them and that they know this now, but it is also the pure unconditional love that they feel in that moment when the connection is made, because that pure unconditional love is so powerful. You just feel it and everything melts, right? So like, okay, and then continuing on here. So, like if you have, let's say, a fight with someone you love, sibling, parent, friend, whatever, you have a fight. You hate them in that moment. You can say all kinds of bad words. You may even like part ways. And then you may come together again and forgive each other and have that beautiful hug of reconciliation where you forgive each other and you have this sense of like, so glad to have you back in my life, right? Or you're having a fight with somebody, you have some type of argument, and then something bad happens to some of them, like let's say car accident, or they get really sick, and then you rush to their side. This happens a lot with siblings, right? Rush to their side because you love them and you're concerned for them, and you don't want them to get even sicker than what they are, right? You see this a lot of times with siblings, when like you have siblings that really dislike each other, something bad happens to the other one, and then the other one is completely distraught about what's happening to their sibling because That is the pure, unconditional love of you, your higher self, your divine being of you, without the ego. When something happens like that, we let go of the ego, we let go of our differences, and we're able to open up our heart chakra and become completely connected to the love that we are, and connect that to what is actually really important here. Is it that my sibling took my car and crashed it when I barely got to drive it, and I'll never forgive them because I saved all my money? Like, right? I'm just making this story up, right? But like, this is how it happens, right? It's just one silly thing after the other, all attached to ego things, things that cost money, things, right? Like, a lot of times about money. And then something was to happen, there you are. There you are, the first one in line, so worried and praying for them so that they can get better. With that, my loves, I am sending you so much love. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to follow, like, and leave a review. That really helps the show to be found. Share it with others, especially this one. The guys are saying there are so many people right now who need to hear this message. And again, listen to it a couple of times until it really lands fully for you. You can save it, you can look at what number it is, so you can go back to it and listen to it again until you feel complete in your healing. Sending you so much love, and I will talk to you soon. Bye bye.